Del Rios, watched the magnetically tethered crates of the Decoy freighters drift in the hold. Each crate a dull gray coffin for a dormant electromagnetic pulse core. They looked innocent enough, mass-balanced cylinders with no external wiring, but if even one were to crack its casing inside this bay, there would be nothing left of the carrier circuitry but sizzling slag and ghosts of data. The thought made Cale's scalp tighten. He checked the seals one more time, then flicked his wrist to close the inspection panel. "Nix," he said, calling the shipboard AI up on the auditory channel. "Confirm final diagnostics on the EMP cores, then lock the bay under my command signature only." "Diagnostics complete," the voice replied, soothing and strange all at once. Alto registers layered over a low contralto, as though two women spoke in perfect unison. "Mores are stable, yields within expected variance, encryption tags verified, bay sealed, local overrides disabled." Cale exhaled and pushed off the deck, drifting back toward the midship spine where gravity resumed. 2 decks above him, the holographic emitters were running full power, projecting the outlines of a different vessel around the hull, a battered grain hauler named Dawn of Alafora. From a distance, Dawn and the other 7 freighters in the formation would look slow, cumbersome, and full of valuable cargo, perfect prizes for a pirate squadron or consortium raider. They were also bait. The real Convoy 6 medical carriers and 3 refugee liners was creeping along a separate vector. 8 light minutes astern, their emissions masked and their hulls cold to sensors. If everything went right, Cale's decoys would draw the hunters away, detonate their EMP charges in empty space, and leave a corridor for the vulnerable ships to slip through the Leonis Gap unscathed. But if things went wrong, Cale shook the thought aside. Things had already gone wrong once, back on Rubicon Station, when a consortium agent walked a pipe bomb into the hangar and took out the original escort group. That attack was why Cale, a field engineer with no real command credentials, was here at all, because there was no one else left to orchestrate the decoy run. He reached the command deck and keyed the holoplot. 8 wireframe freighters hovered in orange. 8 ghostly icons of their holographic faces floated in translucent blue around them, offset by a fraction of a meter in every axis, so fine that the visual trick fooled even Cale when he stared too long. The real Convoy's icon was a dim green smear at the edge of the projection, firewalled behind layers of encryption. Only Nix and Cale could uncover its coordinates. "Status?" he asked. "Decoy formation aligned. Mission pattern broadcasting," Nix said. "We are scheduled to exit slipstream in 12 minutes, relative. Pirates of record in this corridor include Talarak's Marauders, Hollow Sovereigns, and 2 Consortium Rapid Intercept Wings. Probabilistic outcome of interception, 68% before threshold, 83% after threshold." Cale rubbed his eyes. "Let's try to keep them eager. Pump up the black market chatter. Leak that we diverted from a naval convoy and were carrying cryochips. Seeding channels now." Nix paused, then added conversationally, "Your pulse rate is elevated. May I adjust the simp suppressant?" "No," Cale said, a bit too sharply. "I want to feel it." "Very well." He slid into the acceleration couch and strapped in. "Right. Bring us out of slip space." Outside the viewports, the star field snapped from tunneling streaks to crisp diamonds. For a few seconds, the ship shuddered as the full drives cooled. Cale's stomach flipped, an old glitch from a childhood bout of low-grav sickness. He toggled the forward camera feed. Empty dark, scattered ice, and a cobalt swirl of nebular dust ahead. Then, the proximity alarms flared crimson. Nick spoke at once, each syllable calm. "Gravitic rupture detected. Vector 47 by 219, 3 signatures. Accelerating within interdiction envelope. Baseline matches Hollow Sovereign." Cale's lips twitched. The Sovereigns were ex-military defectors. High-end gear, but sloppy discipline. He could work with that. "All ships, maintain decoy broadcast. Collision profiles as briefed. We let them hurt us. Nix, keep our real impulse burn 10% under optimum. Make it look like we're running hot. He felt the subtle push as Nix dialed back the drive. In the holoplot, 3 red triangles bloomed, arrowing in. Sovereign frigates, no doubt shielded but light on armor. They'd open with scramble drones, hack sails, then board. The last thing they'd expect was a flight of freighters whose cargo could sundown every circuit for 1,000 kilometers. Time to interception? Cale asked. 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Cale called up the secondary monitor, a private feed from the refugee liners far astern, parents holding children, medics hovering over stacked life pods. He let the images ground him, then closed the tab. Signal the freighters to randomize course, he ordered. Make it look panicked, and spin up the detonation matrix. Matrix ready. All cores slave to your heart's rate emissions. If you die, they trigger. Cale swallowed. A dead man's switch, it seemed like a solid precaution an hour ago. Now the weight of it pressed against his chest. The enemy ships grew in the plot. Cale patched audio through. "Hello, Sovereign. Command convoy," a voice drawled, lazy arrogance over crackling static. "Shut down your drives and prepare for boarding. Any resistance will void safeties." Cale flicked open a channel and pumped a tremor into his tone. "This is Dawn of Olivora, independent trader. We, comply. Just, please don't vent the civvies. We're only hauling grain and cryochips." Behind him, Nix overlaid a wink on his retinal HUD. AI humor. The pirates would be drooling now. "Dawn of Olivora, powder down," the pirate ordered. KL muted the mic. "Time to core critical mass? Cores armed. 30 seconds to chain link threshold." "Good, Helm. Change my vector 10 degrees down, make it slow." The holofreighters stuttered in response, drunken animals scattering. The holographic overlays flickered to match, a dance of false shadows. Pirate frigates split formation, each choosing a prize. Cale's breathing slowed. This was the razor's edge. Too soon, and their burn radius might not catch all 3 hostiles. Too late, and the pirates could raise shields or jam the trigger frequency. Nix counted down softly. 10, 9, 8. A shriek of static cut in. "Unknown transmission detected. Are you spoofing?" 5, 4, Cale whispered. "For the lost at Rubicon." 3, 2, 1. He hit the master execute. Nothing happened in real time. Cale's retinas were already burned white by the flash filters slamming down, but the sensor readout stole the tale. A ring of white-hot electromagnetic bloom, spikes so tall they clipped the graph, then silence, as everything electronic within 1,000 clicks just died. Pirate frigates spun, power signatures guttering to zero, even the Sovereign's hardened coils fried under the brute amberage. In the command deck, emergency chemical lights flicked on. Nix switched to shielded processors, her voice a whisper now. EMP discharge confirmed. All hostile systems offline. Radiation dispersal within safe limits. Cale's exhale sounded like a sob. He sagged in his harness, eyes stinging. One crisis down, but the mission wasn't over. The path needed to stay clear for another 35 minutes before the refugee flotilla reached Jump Point Sigma. "Status of real convoy?" he asked. "On schedule. No anomalies." "Good. Bring life support in this compartment to minimum, conserve juice, and transmit the all clear to the secondary escort wing." Acknowledged. Cale unstrapped, floating as gravity winked out. He drifted to the viewport. Outside, one pirate ship coasted by. Lights dead, hull pocked where micrometeors had already started scoring the plating. He clenched his fist. There were people on that ship, criminals, true, but people. They would suffocate or starve unless rescue arrived. The war had taught everyone to fight dirty, yet the aftertaste never sweetened. His helmet comm ping. "Incoming narrowband from Escort Wing Beta, captained by Commander Yara Singh." Cale toggled it open. "Impressive fireworks," Singh said. "We're cruising past your blast zone now. Picking up limp hulls everywhere. Nice work." Thank the engineer corps for the EMP cores, Cale replied. You're on picket. Keep any stragglers from wandering in. Roger. And Rios? The refugees appreciate what you're doing. Cale managed a thin smile. Let's get them home first. The channel closed. Cale turned to leave the deck, but a soft chime froze him. Nix again, but quieter, as though wary. Cale, internal sensor trip on deck 6. Crew complement logged at 23. I now detect 24. Intruder unknown. Cale's blood cooled. Deck 6 held auxiliary comms, including the secure data pod with the convoy's real cords. How is that possible? He hissed. No one boarded. Reviewing biodata, match found. Lieutenant Marin Vale, KIA Rubicon bombing 4 days prior. Cale's gut twisted. Vale had been his friend, killed helping him drag survivors from the flames. If her tag pinged now, someone had cloned it, which meant infiltration and sabotage. Lock down Deck 6, he ordered, voice taut. Purge breezeways. Keep cameras dark. Don't tip them off. Locks engaged. Cale kicked off toward the weapons rack, strapped a sidearm across his chest, and cycled a magboots switch. During the hum of electromagnets filled his ears. He forced himself to breathe, to think. The saboteur had to be consortium, bent on corrupting the data pod or broadcasting the convoy's real location. And with the power grid still shaky post-EMP, containment was fragile. As he clomped down the ladder well, memories of Rubicon flashed. The blast, Vale's shattered visor, the promise he whispered over her body that he would see the refugees safe. He clenched his jaw. He reached Deck 6. Bulkheads glowed red with lockdown status. Vale toggled a peephole in the door and peered inside. A woman in vacuum armor knelt at the data pod station, jacking a slim spike into the encryption port. Her helmet visor mirrored silver, hiding her face. She moved methodically, as though certain no one would interrupt. Cale opened a private channel on deck speakers. Step away from the pod. The intruder froze. Slowly she stood, lifting gloved hands. Then she spoke, voice filtered but familiar. Cale? It's me. His heart kicked. Marin Vale. Impossible. He'd seen her body. He forced clarity. Whoever you are, remove the helmet. She did, and there she was, freckles, brown eyes, the thin scar on her jaw from a zero-G tumble years ago. Sweat darkened her hairline, and for a moment, Cale couldn't speak. I saw you die, he managed. I saw me die too. She grinned weakly. The bomb was phased. Quantum echo. Long story. Cale shook his head. No. Vale's remains were identified. DNA, retinal. All faked, she said. By me. Cale, I'm deep cover. Consortium infiltration unit. Designation Lark. I had to let you think I died so you wouldn't blow my cover, I swear. He felt as though the deck tilted. Your consortium? Not by choice. I've been feeding intel to Resistance Central for 2 years. That spike I'm placing? It masks your real convoy longer. I'm on your side. Cale's sidearm trembled. Prove it. Remember Lever Outpost? The night before the heist, you and I shared a bottle of citrus gin hand-pressed, illegal on station. You told me you used to stutter when nervous. I taught you breathing tricks. She took a breath, reciting the pattern. 4 in, hold 2, 6 out. Cale's throat closed. Only Vale could know that, but consortium intelligence might have pulled it from logs. He couldn't resign judgment to nostalgia. You said you're masking the convoy? Show me, he demanded. She tapped a wrist pad. A hologram sprang up. Encryption strings cascading, unique keys that corresponded to Nix's private channels. I forged these inside the consortium's own black arrays. It will double their decryption time. Without it, there's a stealth drone en route that'll pick up the convoy in 13 minutes. Nix? Cale called. Is there such a drone? Pause. Probability high. Long-range scanners detect faint mass reading on predicted approach. Cloak grade unknown. Kale's mind raced. If Veal or Lark spoke true, killing her could doom the refugees. But letting her continue meant trusting a traitor. He toggled external speakers. Step clear of the console. I'll take that spike. She slid it from the port, clipped it to her belt, and floated it over. KL caught it, thumb brushing data fins. Genuine consortium alloy. He looked up. She hadn't moved, eyes on him, pleading. KL, I'm sorry, she said. I don't need forgiveness. Just let me finish helping you. He raised the gun, though part of him screamed protest. On your knees. Hands behind your head. She obeyed. Mag boots locking to deck. He keyed comms. Nix, open a narrow band to Commander Singh. Nix responded instantly. Channel open. Singh. Rios, I have potential friendly infiltrator with consortium clearance, claiming to extend our convoy mask. Advise? Static for a moment, then Singh replied. Your call, Kale. You're on the ground, but remember, 30,000 souls rely on that corridor staying dark. Kale lowered the weapon slightly. Val, no. Lark, integrate your code, but I watch every packet. One misstep, I vent the bay. Understood? She nodded, relief a flicker in her eyes. KL holstered the pistol and gestured. She rose, fingers flying on the console. Lines of code illuminated, weaving with Nix's systems. KL mirrored on a side panel, verifying checksums. The integration was elegant, no sabotage evident. Nix announced, drone intercept probability reduced to 8%, though secure. KL exhaled. Thank you, he said to Lark, words heavy. Footsteps clanged behind him. Singh herself, suited and armed, having raced from her cutter docked on the hull. She assessed the scene in a glance. Situation, she asked. Resolved, KL said. Introduce Commander Singh to Operative Lark. Lark saluted. Ma'am. Singh's gaze hardened. We'll debrief you later, for now. We still have an extraction to protect. Right, KL said. He tapped his comm. Nix, restore full power. Coordinate with Singh's wing. Let's shepherd those ships. The command deck brightened as systems ramped up. Kale settled back into his chair, Lark and Singh flanking him. On the hollow plot, the refugee convoy crept closer. Minutes passed like heartbeats, steady, anxious, unstoppable. No new hostiles appeared. At the 35-minute mark, Nix pronounced, Convoy at jump point Sigma initiating mass jump sequence. One by one, green icons winked out, translating into slip space. Kale released a breath he'd been holding for hours. Cheers erupted across the deck. Singh clapped Kale's shoulder. Lark grinned, eyes shining with something like hope. Nick's voice cut through the din. Mission success, all civilian vessels accounted for. A softer note entered the AI's tone. Well done, Kale. He let the praise wash over him. Weary joy mingled with sorrow for lives lost, for the pirates left adrift, for the friend returned half-stranger. But for the first time since Rubicon, the ache eased. Singh spoke gently. Now comes cleanup. We tow the dead frigates outside sector, then melt your decoys so no one copies the trick. Kale nodded. And what about Lark? We interrogate her, Singh said. Then maybe we offer her a job. Lark laughed once. You'll find my resume unconventional. Kale smiled despite himself. Unconventional is the new standard. Outside the EMP-scarched graveyard of the Hollow Sovereigns drifted in silence. Far away, the convoy streaked for safety beneath the quiet stars. And somewhere in the expanse, new threats undoubtedly plotted. But for this night, the path was clear. Kale leaned back, let the hum of the ship cradle him, and finally allowed his eyes to close.